Deliverable 2. This presentation is being created by Stephanie Labonte for Daniel Anguano's MMC 3407 CBE, Section 1, Visual Communication in the Media course through Rasmussen College. I have been hired to analyze the images being used currently as the display for the new campaign pushing to improve neighborhood safety. Currently, the same image is being used in both urban and suburban neighborhoods, and this practice makes the campaign fall short. The image that is currently being used is one of a bunch of children engaging in a water balloon fight while the police interact with the parents. This imagery absolutely would work for the suburban families, but does not connect as much with the urban neighborhoods. The perception from those in the urban communities would be that they were not considered in this advertisement, because that is not their life being portrayed. I propose changing both images to better fit the community that the billboard is located. When creating a billboard for a community message such as this, the actual culture must be considered, and the image must actually represent the individual communities. When considering semiotics, according to Rasmussen, it is important that the background and placement supports the overall message that is trying to be delivered. If there is a disconnect between the viewer and the message, then we are limiting the power of the message as a whole, where simply changing the images for each neighborhood can provide the ultimate understanding and delivery to the viewer. When we consider semiotics, we are considering a multitude of things. For this analyzation, we are going to consider only two of them. According to our lesson, viewers can make assumptions based on different things they see within an image, which is metonymic. They can make comparisons to what they are seeing, which is known as analogical. In other situations, we would also consider condensed or displaced associations, but they are not as relevant for this scenario. The first image I chose is for the urban neighborhood. I chose an image of a group of officers engaging in a game of tug-of-war with a group of children in a neighborhood. There is an overall myth that officers are not good people, and that individuals in more diverse and urban neighborhoods are often the main target of these types of officers. We can see that this is an urban neighborhood by the tall buildings in the background and the lack of grass in the scenery. We can also see the chalk marks from children playing in the streets versus sidewalks. We can also notice a large metal barrier in the background that is often seen in more urban areas. When considering the viewers, adults will be able to look back at their previous experiences when engaging with officers and be able to notice the differences between their own personal memories and the interaction the officers are trying to achieve with today's youth. The police working with the children with tug-of-war provides a symbolic representation of the relationship they want to continue to grow within the community. While this may not be an image of their actual neighborhood, it provides an analogical connection to the people of the neighborhood due to the similarities between this neighborhood and their own. The fact the background is limited to some extent increases that connection because the background that you actually see provides many similarities to their own, which increases the likelihood of the viewer experiencing various emotions due to the imagery. The metal gate, the tall buildings, the sidewalk chalk in the street are all examples of things that viewers may look at and think of their own community. The community youth is able to look at the image and see officers in a positive light and can help bridge the relationship between the youth and local officers. Children are able to stop looking at police officers in a fearful way and be able to look at them more in a friendly, positive manner. This ad would not be as effective in the suburban neighborhood because to those viewers, this is not what their normal looks like. This is not an adequate representation of their home, so it prevents them from being able to ultimately connect with the message being delivered. Some viewers may draw back on a similar experience that they had as a child with a kind officer, or they may feel some sense of emotion when thinking of their own children having a positive experience with others. Children have smiles on their faces alone is known to spark emotion within people. It provides incentive for those individuals to also do their part to help grow that connection with the local officers and to encourage their local children to have a positive, beneficial relationship with the local police department. The second picture I selected is a picture of a group of police officers standing in front of a lemonade stand that is being operated by some young girls. There is a canine in the picture as well, and they are all standing near the end of a rather large driveway. The house in the background is rather large and is significantly nice. Families in the suburban neighborhood are more able to connect to this image because it's more like their own neighborhood. They have grass that is green and yards that they can play in, which provides both metanomical and analogical codes within people that allow them to be able to connect this neighborhood to their own. They may be able to see this house and connect it to a similar house that they have encountered within their own personal neighborhood. I feel that even the oil stain in the pavement can allow some viewers to connect to a previous memory of their own in which they have left an oil stain in their own driveway. This imperfection and otherwise a perfect picture enhance the ability of the billboard to connect because it makes it more real and provides the opportunity for more people to connect because not everyone in a suburban neighborhood has a quote-unquote picture-perfect home and yard. The pristine shape of the yard and the house symbolizes the overall look of a suburban neighborhood. The children are smiling and happy, which can again trigger an emotional response within the viewer. The canine also can trigger an emotional response out of viewers because many people love animals and find dogs to be trustworthy. I think the differences in the size of girls provides a diversity amongst them that can enhance the amount of people that feel a connection to them as characters of the board and be able to relate to them to someone they know. The big yard can trigger an emotional response as well as viewers tap into their memories and remember a pleasant experience of playing in a yard as a child. There has been negative broadcasting of legal action being taken against some children holding lemonade stands. The active officers standing in support of these young girls holding a lemonade stand can encourage community members to feel more connected to the police and feel the police are just like them. The positive imagery in both these billboards can provide many benefits to both communities. While there is previously a big disconnect between the image chose and the actual communities they are being placed in, by selecting culturally appropriate images, we can enhance the message being delivered and encourage our youth to look at police in a positive light.